this tip, no, this. So today we're going to be reacting to some interesting hot takes when it comes to learning a language. I'm really interested in this because I have my own hot takes that people might really disagree with. We'll get into that later. Okay, let's head off into our first one. The best way to learn a language is to commit a crime in the country and go to prison there. I mean, he's not wrong. Funny because I actually thought about this. I remember I was in the Global Lounge, which is basically like an international student lounge. And I sat there and for some random reason, I started looking up reviews of prisons. By the way, are absolutely hilarious. It's funny, they're just so funny. And I thought about it because Japan has a 99% conviction rate. So basically if you're convicted of a crime, GG, you're over. If you're stuck in a Japanese prison or jail for a long time, you kind of have to pick up the language. If you have allergies, how are you gonna tell them you're allergic to peanuts? Or how are you gonna tell them you're vegetarian or Muslim and you can't eat pork? Like, there's a lot of things you really have to figure out very quickly if you're stuck in a prison. Yeah, if you're looking to go to another country on a budget, go ahead and commit a crime there. And yeah, you'll learn language very quickly. I understand this was a joke, please. I gotta do the thumbnail. Hot take number. If you're going to a country where the language is spoken, what? Hold on, my brain did a thing, ignore me. Imperative mood early on, for some reason, it's always near the end of the grammar text, even though it's commonly used. No one says, would you please grab me a beer at a party? They say, grab me a beer, will ya? Or the local equivalent. I will say this is 100% true because when I went to Japan, I only knew textbook Japanese. And when someone spoke to me, I was like, I have no idea what you're saying to me. I remember when I first landed in Japan, as I got past the gates and I walked into the lounge, I was looking around and I tried to ask somebody like, how do I get to my dorm? And the Japanese people spoke. I did not understand at all. I was like, sumimasen, kore wa doko desu ka? And they would give me directions, but it was like, for one, I didn't know the cities. So obviously, if you travel, please know the cities if you can. Number two, I didn't know like the slang. I didn't know, I was listening for that mas at the end or des at the end. But a lot of the times when you're speaking casually, people don't do that, especially the younger generation. Like, we don't really do it that often. It's the same as in English. You're not gonna say, hey, what would you like to do? You'd say, hey, what do you wanna do? Like that. It's like we blend it together. Sometimes we're even like a native. Sometimes even I don't hear it and I'm like, what? Heavily recommend that you learn slang if you're going to go to another country, just for the fun of it, and also if you want to live there. Fun fact, I actually taught Japanese people American slang while living in Japan. I'll put a little picture of it right here. It was a lot of fun. Hot take number 3. Ooh, this hot take, this might upset some people. Music is not a good way to learn a language. I completely disagree. Now, the reason I disagree is because I genuinely have learned a phrase or how to say something just because I sing it all the time. Like, one of my favorite songs is Sakura. Sakura, hira, hira. Quite literally, even if I don't know the meaning of all the words, I know how to pronounce them. Even then, I can guarantee if you repeatedly sing the song all the time, you most likely will catch up on the meaning. Literally had friends sing Japanese songs perfectly, and they don't speak any Japanese, but their tonality, their pitch, their dialect, everything was spot on. Low-key, it was a little freaky because they said some words in Japanese better than I did. Yes, I disagree. Music definitely does help you, but again, there are multiple ways to learn, so just learn the way that you like. Hot take number. Language courses that insist on only using the target language are inefficient. If you can guess that something will be difficult to understand, explain it then and there. Saves having to encounter it 10 times before finally figuring it out. This one I agree and disagree with. Do I think that absolute beginners should jump into a class where they don't speak any English? No, I think that's an awful idea. Now, when you're a little more advanced, I'm not saying like super advanced, like not to the point where you can watch a whole anime and go, oh, I understand everything that they're saying. No. When you get to the point where you can start forming sentences together and you're comfortable with reading passages, like say, for example, you want to make the sentence, I want to eat a red fish. You would say, watashi wa ai sakana tabetai. Like, I want to eat a red fish. Like, when you get to that point, I feel like that's when you can jump into classes where they don't speak a lot of English, because it's kind of like how children learn. You're forced in that environment. You're forced to quickly pick up things. And that's kind of what my Japanese classes were like in Japan. We didn't really use much English. And honestly, it was absolutely terrifying in the beginning because I often used to miss what my teacher said. But then I would try to go home and study it. It made me pick up things a lot quicker. So I have to disagree with this hot take, and I really think that immersion is one of the best ways to learn when you get to a certain degree. Hot take number 4. I love these. These are fun. Do you find them fun? I hope so. When learning a language that is completely opposite of your native language, in my case, learning Korean as a native English speaker, you're going to want to study with a non-native speaker. They'll be able to explain the grammatical concepts to you. That's what I really do have to agree with, because even if someone who is not native to English came to me and asked me to explain the word the, I have no idea how to do it. I know how to say it in sentences and the best way to give you examples, but I have no way to explain the word the. Here, you, try to explain the right now. Or a. Now try explaining it in a language where they don't have it. Like in Japanese, there's no the, a, anything like that. There's not even really S's in Japanese. Technically there is, it's no, but that's a whole thing. I was learning from two different ways. I was learning from a Japanese native, and then I was also learning from a Japanese teacher. The Japanese native was able to teach me slang in more casual conversation, which is really nice when you want to go day to day, but if you want to learn how to integrate in that culture, business-wise, or if you want to open a business, you really need to understand the basics. Kind of like knowing the rules before you break the rules, you know? Now, if you don't have the finances to hire a Japanese tutor, that is completely fine. I think going on like Hello Talk and just talking to a Japanese native is still pretty good. There are a ton of resources that you can utilize to learn Japanese that are free, and I'll actually put some of them up right here. Now, some of these I also personally use, and I'm actually going to create videos about it a little later, going more in depth in these and how I'm learning Japanese. Keep in mind, I'm still not the best, at least I think, so I'm just here to help you. We're both on this learning journey together. So, on to the next hot take. That one. No amount of fancy tricks, silly gimmicks are going to get you around the fact that repetition and practice are essential to learning a language. This is so true, and I kind of wish it wasn't true, because obviously we want to see those cool things like Duolingo or learn Japanese in 30 days or learn this in 10 days. It's like, I wish it were true, but it's not. But it's also kind of rewarding, you know, because you know that you worked for something so hard. Like, I've been learning Japanese for about like 5 years now. I'm still not the best at it, but I'm a lot farther than I was 5 years ago. I can actually kind of hold a small conversation, and I can actually watch some of my favorite movies without subtitles, such as Your Name. So agree, true and true, the old method of repetition, it's genuinely what's going to get you to learn another language. You have to repeat it. Hot take number. Handwriting is excellent for memorization. You're much more likely to retain a text you wrote on paper than a text you typed on a keyboard. 100% true, especially if you're learning kanji. You really need to write that down, and that's actually one of my weak points. I'm not good at memorizing how to write down the kanji, but I can read the kanji really well. I don't recommend the method that I'm doing because I genuinely can't write that well, and I'm really sad about it. But when I was living in Japan, I was honestly just trying to get by, and I was low-key told that I don't really need to learn how to write Japanese because everything is by text nowadays. But I really want to keep the tradition of calligraphy alive in Japanese, and I really want to like pay honor to the tradition, if that makes sense. Oh no, this is a hot take. This is hot take number. Learning fast is not the same as learning well. 100% true. Actually, some of these people that you see online where it's like, they were so surprised that I spoke their native language. They are not speaking that well. Like, quite literally, they are speaking maybe elementary of that language, which is totally cool. Totally cool and totally fine. But I feel like they're giving the impression that they're fluent, or those people that say they're fluent in like 5 languages, most likely they're still very elementary in a lot of those languages. Still, it's really cool, but I think giving the impression that you're fluent in all those languages is not fair or the best thing to do. It kind of gives like a false image, I feel. This is a good hot take. This is a good hot take. Hot take. Japanese, Chinese, and Korean are needlessly complex. 100%. Now, I will say there's a beautiful, beautiful, long, and wonderful, rich culture behind each individual language. I'm just complaining because it's been 5 years and I'm still not good at it. This is a really good hot take. I feel like I keep saying that. I'm sorry. Stop questioning every single thing about a language that you're learning because it doesn't make sense in your native language or your culture. It is incorrect, doesn't make sense, or how it's not supposed to work. So many language learners have a bit of superiority complex over the language, seeing it being as less than or too hard when in reality they're just limiting themselves because they aren't used to it. I will say this is 100% true. When I first started learning Japanese, I kept getting frustrated because I couldn't say the R's. It's not R's, ra. Like instead of ramen, it's ramen. So it took me a long time how to be able to just pronounce one single word. And also the multiple various ways to conjugate used to make me upset all the time. I think that's pretty normal when you're first learning a language to get upset and compare it to your own language. I think there comes a point where you have to get over yourself in a sense and actively learn that there's other things out there. Hot take, you don't need to study consistently every single day in order to progress. Now, I'm going to agree and disagree with this one at the exact same time. Now, I don't agree that you have to study at 180 or even like 50% every single day, because something as small as taking 15 minutes out of your day to just review some of the kanji or the vocab that you did the day prior is more than enough. But then the next day, obviously, if you can, like go a little harder. But one of the problems I had is I was studying like so hard, like 100%, multiple days in a row, that I did not let myself relax. And because of it, I got so stressed that I got an illness that caused me permanent damage in my body. That's why you'll notice that a lot of my study techniques are all about sustainability, because I want to make sure that what happened to me, I want to prevent it happening to another person, because it was not fun. I was in the hospital. I did not understand what people were saying around me. I was getting pain medication while in another country that, not gonna lie, the pain medication from Japan compared to America is not the same. Because my body was so used to American pain meds, it was not, let's just say it was not a fun time. It was not a fun time. It was not a fun time. This tip, no, this one, guys. Hold on, let me say the hot tip. Hot tip. People who say they only learned English from watching TV also took like 10 years of English class at school. Yes, a ton of people. Every time I met a foreigner who came to America and was like, "Oh yeah, I just learned English from TVs." No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I used to feel so bad because I was like, how are they so good at English and I'm this bad at Japanese and I'm taking classes? They took English classes when they were kids, okay? They may not have continued them in their like middle school or high school, but they took English classes. They were exposed to English more than we were. So no, next time someone tells you, oh, I only learned English just from watching TV, more than likely they took English classes as a kid, and you don't have to feel guilty for not being as fluent as they are in their native language, as they are in your native language. Hot take. Hot take. I like Danish. Please let me live. Now, I don't know any Danish, so if you guys can let me in on the joke, please let me know in the comments, because I'm really curious about this, because someone also commented, hope your visit to the mental hospital goes well. Is Danish really that hard to learn? Should I look into Danish? And the last hot tip are the same sounds, and you cannot tell me otherwise. Or. Now that we went over popular hot takes, here are some of my hot takes. I think the best way to learn a language is to date someone or become best friends with someone, like truly, truly deep best friends. I thought about dating when I was in Japan, but then I just kind of wanted to go over and have fun and just didn't really want to deal with a relationship, because it's a lot to be in a healthy relationship. I'm going on a tangent here. Let me just step off my soapbox. Another hot take is I think the best way you can learn a language is to go somewhere and be completely lost in that country if you can. Because I quickly learned so many words when I traveled alone, very quickly. And sometimes I was in locations where they had a different accent on top of it, so I was like way out of my depth. Last hot take is, if you can, get angry and only speak in your target language. I don't know about you, but when I'm really angry and I'm trying to express myself, like quite literally, I'll be in my room just like yelling in my pillow in my target language, just because like it makes you think, right? Because you're obviously very frustrated. You just want to say things. You just want to get it out your chest. So I'm not gonna say what I'm saying like in my brain, because it's my brain. But that's a really good way to get your mind to think very quickly, think very creatively, because you might not know how to say, oh, screw that person, but you might not know how to say, I don't like that person, or that person wears an ugly t-shirt. So like it makes you think of creative ways to like insult a person per se, or maybe you're not even mad at a person, maybe you're just mad at a situation, like, oh, I couldn't go on a date today because it was way too rainy, or the train stopped, or something like that. So those are my like 3 quick hot takes. If you guys have any hot takes about learning language, like please let me know. I'd absolutely love to learn about it. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any other ideas or anything that you would like me to discuss, please let me know in the comments below. Bye!